Welcome to Allscript. My name is Ria.
And I'm JK. And today we have a very special guest here, Keewuk Lee, who is a restaurateur and a business owner of multiple restaurants and bars here in Seoul. So Keewuk is also a fellow Kiwi and has lived in various cities around the world working at highly esteemed establishments, restaurants, Michelin-starred restaurants, ranging from London, Copenhagen, Paris, Melbourne, San Francisco. I think maybe I've got all of them.
Yeah, you got all of them. Good job.
And we're lucky to have him here today to share some insight into running food and beverage businesses here in Korea. So I'm going to pass it on to Keewuk. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, saying hi to our audience.
Hi audience, I'm from New Zealand. My name's Keewuk, I'm 35 years old, currently residing in Korea for the past 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Somewhat similar to the time that I've spent here in Korea as
Oh,
well.
When did you get here?
Yeah, I first arrived in 2020, but then I left, went back to New York and then came back.
Wow.
So in 2023, yeah.
We met, when did I meet you? It was at Vang Vang, was it?
Yeah.
It was at Vang Vang, so it was early on in the stages of Vang Vang, I think.
Yeah, very, very, not long after you opened.
Two and a half, 3, we opened 3 years ago now.
Okay.
Over 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would have been really early in the,
Yeah.
Nice. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Time does fly. And in that time, you've opened 2 more businesses. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about those businesses?
Well, we started off with Vang Vang. Vang Vang's a wine bar located in Upper HPC, serving wine practically, and the food's an interesting one. It's a reflection of where I've stayed, where I've worked, and that's where a lot of my inspiration comes from. But besides that, yeah, we're very wine focused. That's Vang Vang, and Neighbours is a B&B. We like to call it a B&B, brunch and bistro. So during the evenings, it's run as a New Zealand, Australian brunch cafe. And then in the evenings, it's a bistro. So again, very wine focused, but more relaxed there. We serve cocktails, beers, and a plethora of beverages. And there's the new one, The Frog. We're working on it to be a watering hole. So
Nice.
It's something I found in Korea that's lacking. The watering holes in Korea are soju bars and things, which are they're nice, but they're not what I'm accustomed to. So I want a place where you can go after work for a cheeky drink and just run into people. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to call friends up, because if you do call friends up, you're going to be there. You're obliged to stay there for longer than necessary. And then if you just meet some people there, it's very casual. You can just have half a pint with them and then be on your way. So this is what we're going for. We're very new. It's just over 2 months old now.
Oh,
so we'll see. We'll see how things goes.
I mean, a lot of those businesses are all in that sort of one area.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you opened there?
No. Well, the reason would be I don't really do much. I go to work and then I go home. And that's all I do. So the only areas that I'm really aware of is the HPC area.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it just came about like that. One thing led to another, and it all started with a cup of coffee actually. How I found HPC, the Shinung market that we're located, is there's a place called Upstanding Coffee. And then they're one of the early settlers of that little market. And I was talking with the guy, and he made some great coffee, and I was like, oh, where did you work? And he had spent time in Auckland and both in Melbourne. So I said, we're talking for an hour, and then one thing led to another, and then I ended up renting the space across the little alleyway from him. And then here we are, 3.5 years in.
Yeah. Wow. Did you always intend to get into the F&B business in Seoul?
Not really, no. I was in Hong Kong at the time, and Hong Kong went tits up real quick, with COVID. So although my parents are back home in New Zealand, my partner's parents, her parents are both based in Korea. So it was a place we could come on real short notice. And then one thing led to another. Like, had no ambitions of opening a restaurant, but fell in love with the market we're in.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you weren't like intending to stay in Seoul even like long term, or you just were very open-handed about it all?
No, we didn't really have a plan because COVID shut down the restaurant industry, and Korea was still kinda moving. So yeah, it's just we had no intentions to stay in Korea. It was just a place we were going to weather this storm and see how things go. But yeah, can't really count on anything these days.
Yeah, definitely not. So do you feel like you've developed a sense of community, like now that you're established in HBC, but also like with these different sort of businesses that you've got that have and cater to a slightly different audience? You've really built a community there.
Yeah, definitely. Like none of our businesses do marketing. So it's all word of mouth. So arriving in Korea, when we had 10 seats at the bar, it was all friends or friends of friends. That's how everything started. And yeah, it was just word of mouth. That's how it started. And we started with 10 seats, then we did 25 seats upstairs, then we opened the terrace.
Yeah.
And now just recently we've got Bangwang next door, which is our private rooms. So we're separated on 3 different like private dining rooms that we've got in this small space.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, back to the question of community. Yeah, so that's where most of my friends are. Like my relationships are made at the restaurant, talking with guests. It's like, where are you from? What do you do? What do you do for a hobby? Yeah, most of my friends come from the restaurant, if not from my days in New Zealand. So back college, university friends that are relocated back to Korea. Most of them are, just old high school friends or, friends that I met through the restaurant. Like I said, I go home, work, that's it.
That's nice that all your friends come to your work then. You hang out with them there.
Over a glass of wine.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I've had many conversations with Keewuk in that setting. It's interesting because when we did connect in the early days of Van Van, it was definitely a hotspot for a lot of, fashion brands, luxury brands, people who work in that industry loved Van Van and that spot, right? And, Keewuk and I once worked on a catering sort of project for a fashion brand. And that was like 3 years ago, right? That's when I had my cafe.
Oh, okay.
And we provided some of the desserts. And I think that over the years, it really did sort of become the go-to spot for a lot of these companies and a lot of people who want to experience sort of casual sort of dining, but in a different sort of more intimate setting, and be able to sort of connect with the owner who obviously isn't like Korean, and build that sort of relationship. And I think that's what you offer, like that sense of connection with your patrons that maybe not a lot of Korean sort of restaurants do, or you do it in a different way, like a very sort of Kiwi way.
Yeah, we are, very casual. Like the staff are allowed to have fun with the guests. It's not so stuffy.
Nice.
Because, it reflects the area we're in. And it's the kind of service I want personally. Going to a restaurant, sometimes you might want a free Michelin-starred service, but sometimes you just want to sit back, relax, and just take it easy over a nice glass of wine.
I think it helps that in Korea. I think because there aren't any like RSA like strict laws where like you're not allowed to drink on the job. It's easier to have fun with your patrons. Yeah. I did a lot of that when I was at the bar as well. So I know.
You're still at the bar, right?
I still am involved in the bar, but I am not there like on a day-to-day anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Got to look after my liver a little bit. Yeah. I'm actually sober.
You are?
10 months sober.
That's why I haven't seen you. around 10 months. I think it's been about 10 months.
Exactly, yeah. Last time I was there was last winter.
That's about right.
And that's why.
How has it been settling into life in Korea? I know it's, for me it's been, tricky at times, but also it's so different from anywhere else I've lived. How's it been for you?
Yeah, same. It's because I've lived so many places, I've come to the realization that you can't have everything in one place. There's trade-offs you make. Yeah. So like Paris had an amazing food scene where you could go out and enjoy a meal, whilst there was less of a sense of security there, whilst in Korea, vice versa. There is a huge amount, there's a sense of security you can take. It's such an everyday thing, you take it for granted until you step off a plane overseas. Then you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I can't do this. Whilst in Korea, it's super, super safe. But there's things that I used to enjoy back home in New Zealand, like say fishing or swimming in the ocean. Well, in Korea, it's more difficult to do. The nearest ocean that's swimmable is an hour half
Oh, wow,
away.
that's pretty far, yeah.
And it's not something you can do on a regular basis. So yeah, you just got to make compromises and find new hobbies. So find a good group of people that you're surrounded by that are flexible to work with you, like be around. The great thing about Vangwang is a sense of community. The expat world is so small here. Everyone kind of knows everyone.
Yes.
And yeah, the sad thing with that is a lot of expats leave. They're on their 4-year stint, but they kind of replace themselves with their friends, and then you're in their little circle, and then you enjoy that, and then there's always that overbearing feeling of someday this person's going to leave, which is kind of sad. But yes, being surrounded by good people is always a plus.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, because even just as you were talking, it's there is that bittersweet feeling when you are part of an expat community, for sure. But I just think it's amazing that I haven't been to any of your places yet, right? But just from your demeanor, you just have such a welcoming and chill personality that I would only imagine that just naturally overflows into the spaces that you create. I'm I can only imagine what a nice place it would be to come down, just even for a short drink for expats of you've created an environment and somewhat of a safe place for expats to come and just enjoy their time in.
Yeah, a lot of my staff also speak English. I want to say 80% of my staff speak English. So it's a place, like you said, they can come down and just chill and not worry about the language barrier or any other stigma that might be present in, let's say, another restaurant as a foreigner. But yeah, we try to keep it accessible to all.
Yeah. So being here now for 5 years, and you weren't necessarily planning on staying, putting down your roots and starting your restaurants, but in the midst of that, how has your time in Korea served you so far?
Honestly, it's just gone so quick. It's ridiculous how time has flown past in Korea. I imagine, I don't have a baby or a kid, but I imagine having a restaurant is similar to that, where the build up to it it's build up to opening something is excruciating, it's difficult, and it's fuck it, never again. And then when it's up and running and it's flourishing and then it's got a good ambience, everyone's having a great time, it's oh yeah, I could do another one. So I've just recently been banned from opening a restaurant for 2 years.
What?
The wife was like, no more.
Oh, banned from
Yeah, so the boss says no. So we'll see.
Are you wanting to open another one?
No, not currently, no.
Okay.
But honestly, all the restaurants I've opened were by chance. Vangwang was by chance because I fell in love with the area. Neighbors, which is 3 doors down, I fell in love with the building. And it's a plus that it's 25 meters down in the same market. So that was a plus. And then the new one as well is, by chance we had like staff gatherings down there in this little alleyway, and I've always liked this alleyway. One of my boys that I had as a chef just had recently left, and he was like, "Chef, can you have a look at this area? I want to open my own thing, and I would like your insight." And so, came down, had a look, and it was like, "Yeah, I really like this area. We've been down here before. It's got a good community. It's got a good vibe to it." And it was like, the agent we were with, I was like, "Oh, what about this place? Is this place for it?" And then I've had my eye on this place for, I want to say, close to a year and a half. I was like, wow, this is an amazing building. Like, it's good. It's got good street presence. It's well situated. The community is nice down there. I said, oh yeah. And then, so I asked the agent, is this place for it? And he said, yeah, do you want to have a look? So we had a look. And I was to my boy, why don't you take this one? And he sat on it for a week or two, and then he got back to me and I was like, yeah, I've had to think about it, but it's a little too small for what he wants to do. So are you sure? Because if you don't take it, I will take it. And then he was like, yeah, you go. And then my next phone call was to the agent, yeah, I'll take it. And then the phone call after that was to the wife. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you called her right after.
About that. So yeah, that's how, things happen by accident.
Wow.
By chance. I don't really go out looking for a space or an opportunity. They kind of seem to find me.
Yeah, it just presents itself. That's so cool. I love that, because then it sounds like a less pressure type of journey. It's like, things happen.
It's more natural. It's more fluid. If you can't really, I find that if you try to force things, it doesn't come out naturally. And there's always an aspect that, nothing is as beautiful as something that happens naturally. So yeah, that's actually, a lot of the things happen naturally.
All right. How do you, balance or like juggle having to like run these three businesses? I mean, you obviously, you're at and on site, like cooking and, dealing with patrons all the time.
I don't know.
How do you manage everything else?
I don't know. Currently, I think I've got 30-something employees under the three places, and it's putting out fires, just like one fire after the other, and then it's not, I'm being reactive, a reactive way. Having good leadership in the right places helps, whereas I don't have to sort every fire out myself. There's management that can do certain things, whereas I'm not there. But yeah, a good sense of community for sure. Community, I keep saying that word community, but yeah, it's all the businesses are a bit of a community. They look out for each other. If one place is doing more covers than usual, we are able to move stuff around. Having a lot of staff there's an upside to it, where if there are more options.
So, you guys were just mentioning how you manage the three different businesses, and you're talking about, community being a big thing, but, you putting out a lot of fires, like you become more of like a managerial role. And I'm curious of like what your thoughts are like when you are pursuing your passions, right? Which is in this like food and bev industry. Is it hard to kind of maintain like your creative and more like the inspiration part in your day-to-day?
Day-to-day life, yeah. So I don't spend as much time I would like in the kitchen, for sure. But because the restaurants go through menu changes all the time, that's where I can be creative, and I set myself a couple days out of the week to design menus, and then we implement that into the seasonal menus for the Vang Vang and neighbors as well. We're going through our winter menu change. So creative, I would like more time, but I would like more holidays as well. Not getting both. That's where you have to make time to be creative and then change things up. I think that's how we do it. Just, I would like more time to be creative, but it's not easy. Putting out fires.
Yeah, because then would you say like when you are like in the kitchen, like that's where you feel like the most alive?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's what I've been doing the past 15 years or so of my life.
Yeah.
And it's where I feel the most comfortable. Sometimes the days are good, sometimes the days are shit, but it is what it is. The restaurant industry, there's so many moving parts that you cannot count on anything to go your way. Just being a great problem solver is a good skill to have to run restaurants, as you'll know. And that's probably the biggest skill set you should have is the restaurant industry is that problem solving.
On top of having the chops to create good good menus. That's probably but on top of that, like you need to be a good problem solver.
Yeah. So Mackenzie and Beckett, if they're hiring.
Did you hear that?
Have you sort of considered maybe going back to New Zealand at some point?
No, not really.
Okay.
Things are going well in Korea. We're at a good place where I'm enjoying myself. I've got the community. I've found the hobby that I quite enjoy. No, not really. Korea's got everything I want right now. I'm not sure if you've had this. Like the first time I was in Korea by myself, I think I was 15 or 16. You get off the plane and it's like, wow, everyone's the same. If you're surrounded by your parents, you don't have your guard up. You're just following your parents around. And then you get off the plane the first time and then you land at Dongdaemun. It's what we did as a kid. Like you go shopping right away. And then you're surrounded by all these Koreans, or not so much Koreans, but Asians or people that come from the same background as you in a sense. It's like, oh, wow, I'm just the same. Whilst in New Zealand, where it's a melting pot of cultures, it's everyone's kind of different. Everyone's got their own story to tell. Here, it's all aligned, kind of different. Everyone's the same. In Korea, it's like, oh, wow, I don't stand out, and I like that. Growing up in New Zealand, you always stand out as an Asian and living in a Caucasian world. You do stand out. It could be for the better or it could be for the worse, but you do stand out. In Korea, everyone's the same. It's like, oh wow, this is nice, somewhat nice, being mellow.
You're not always kind of thinking about in the back of your head that you're different. It's like, oh, I just kind of belong here.
Yeah.
I think, when I visited for the first time when I was 18, so it was like after college, I felt like the same thing of like, everyone looks like me. But it's kind of emotional too, because you're like, or at least for me, that was my first time to Korea. And so I was like, wow, I don't know, this deep sense of like, oh, this is kind of where I belong, or this is where I come from at least. Like that identity piece.
Were you both born in Korea?
No. I was born in the States, yeah.
Yep, in Australia for me.
Because you still kind of feel at home coming back to like the motherland in a sense?
Definitely.
Did you feel that?
Yeah, the sense of familiarity. I think it's like, oh, you sort of see an extension of what you experience in a microcosm of your family back home, but, like amplified.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. And I think, it comes as a real shock at first. And I think that any sort of second-gen immigrant can relate to this experience of like going back to their motherland and, just being blown away by just how familiar it feels as much as it is foreign. But I think that, it's, you get so much from that experience because you feel so many different emotions and you have to sort of sort of filter and like decipher like what it means to you and like why you're feeling a certain way and like what it triggers about your childhood or like all your memories or like the reason why your parents are the way they are. And, it's so many different thoughts go through your mind that I found it really overwhelming. And I think maybe that's how, people feel initially. And then, you kind of get used to it and then you sort of find ways to blend in as well. And that makes you feel like, oh, this could be my second home. No. Like I feel like I fit in here. And I think I really enjoyed that experience of like coming to Korea because it changed every single time. Like every time I'd come, I'd be like, oh, like it feels more like home the second, third, fourth time around. Yeah. Similar for you as well, yeah?
Exactly.
I'd imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would have to say now, having been here a few years, it feels almost like it feels so much like home that I'm starting to notice the fact that I'm not like Korean in many ways. And so maybe I don't necessarily belong here either. Yeah. So it's like that same sort of feeling you get whenever you stay in a place a bit longer. Yeah. So like I'm at that point where I'm like wondering, do I need to find another home or is this my forever home or does it have to be one or the other? So like I'm going through that at the moment. Which is why I asked you whether or not, long term you might sort of find yourself back in New Zealand or like another city, because you have been a bit nomadic, similar to the way I've been.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't really choose where I go right now. So I've got the restaurants and I like what I'm doing right now. So for the time being, Korea it is. Yeah. Korea's home. Korea's home.
I like that.
Were you born here?
No, I was born in New Zealand.
Okay, you were born in New Zealand. So when you came when you were 15 or 16, that was your first time?
No, like every other year or so, my parents would come out once a year-ish. So we'll have like family trips out there and then say hi to relatives. Spent maybe 2 months here when I was younger to pick up Korean a bit more fluently. Probably should have stayed in New Zealand because my English ain't that great. But so we did that like every other year or so, every year. We'd make trips out. But 15 was the year I came out by myself.
Oh, okay, got it. That's so nice to have like come out while growing up, like having those trips back. Because I was always jealous of my friends that could be able to do that. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. You're going back to the motherland every summer.
But you're doing it a lot now.
Now as an adult, yeah.
You're still based in LA?
Yeah.
So you just come out for every episode?
Exactly. No, I wish. No, first season was in Orange County. Okay. And then
and I flew out for that.
Yeah. Really? And then this time I flew out for this one.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's nice.
Yeah, and a bit of an excuse to travel back and forth,
skincare. Hair.
Yes, exactly. Get all the stuff.
Tick. Yeah. Done all of that.
Hospital runs.
Was it the whole body check?
Yeah. You have to get one of those when you're here.
I'm kind of scared. Like, what if
you haven't done it yet?
I haven't done it.
You're gonna love it.
Really?
No.
Really?
I'm kind of scared of finding out that I have like some disease or something.
No, you'd rather it's better that you know.
But ignorance is bliss.
Not when it comes to health. Okay. Not when it comes to health.
Fine. I'll do it.
Book her in.
And you know what? I've booked myself in for a checkup early next year. So, maybe that might be the next time you come. Because you have to do it in advance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they book out pretty quickly. Yeah. So, I guess, sort of as we sort of near the end of this session, we like to ask about, the lessons that you've learned and maybe a bit of advice that you might want to impart on someone who's wanting to do something similar as you. I know that from my own experience getting into F&B as an industry, it was really difficult because I didn't have people to guide me or like offered me any advice, and I struggled quite a fair bit. And I feel like, had I known, or if someone gave me a bit of insight, maybe I would have thought twice before getting into it. So, what words of wisdom do you have to share? Or like, what have you learned from your experience, running these businesses?
F&B is tricky. You got to do it from a place of love or passion. You do long hours, like ridiculous hours. Every Christmas, every holidays, you're going to be away from your family and loved ones and friends. It's got to be done purely by passion. It can't be revenue driven. It can't be culturally driven. Yeah, it's just got to be by pure passion. You've got to love what you do. There's a very fine line between loving what you're doing and then crossing that line to hating it every moment. Then it's just excruciating. Like you're on your feet all day. You're in a hot kitchen, high tempo environment. Yeah, you just got to love what you're doing. And besides that, it just starts with a passion. And then everything else, if you're passionate about something, I truly believe you'll put the time and effort into it. You'll hone your craft. You'll be better at what you're doing. So yeah, start by passion.
If you were to have another career, like in an alternative sort of world or life, is there anything else you'd want to do?
Another career. I love working with my hands in general. So furniture making.
Oh,
Really?
It's my hobby.
Oh, it's your hobby.
Yeah. So
we need to talk about that.
Is he into furniture?
This is where you come from. But yeah, furniture making, like most of the bar at Vang Vang, I made myself. The chairs and the bar at the Frog, I've made myself.
Oh, wow.
Like a lot of the things that I can do by myself, I try to do myself.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Is it woodwork?
Yeah, woodwork. So you're a carpenter?
I wouldn't take it that far, but yeah, woodworking is a passion
so cool.
of mine. I've just recently trying to get into welding.
Oh, that's fun.
It's the thing I'll do in my winter time. See how things go. Yeah.
I thought you had no time for hobbies.
Yeah, I don't. So I've had this bought a welder, two different welders, and then they're just sitting there.
Oh, so cool. Those are the things, right? With the wax.
Exactly that.
Cool.
That and golf. Golf takes a lot of time in Korea, though.
Oh, really?
And a lot of money.
Really?
Yeah, it's not an accessible sport, especially coming from New Zealand where it's really cheap. Yeah.
Wow.
But
well, you're gonna have to do it when you go back home.
Golf?
Yeah.
No, golf I play every week.
Oh, nice.
Oh, even here?
No.
Okay.
It's my one little outlet that I can do repetitively, and golf's nice. Like
Nice.
you challenge yourself. Like golf's very fair. You could have an amazing shot, driver off, and then you could have a shit lie, and then it's like life really. You could have everything going for you, and then you could turn to shit.
And that's the line of the episode.
And we'll leave it at that. Cut.
That's a perfect.
Well, no, thank you so much for coming on our podcast today.
Yes.
It's been really nice to just talk just casually and just learn more about your experience.
Yes.
I feel like I've learned something new about you, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, I love the energy that you bring, even though it's like super chill. I'm like, oh, I feel comfortable. It's like California, Kiwi vibes. I love it.
Yeah. I've been leaning back in my chair.
Yeah,
the whole time.
I'm like so relaxed. I'm not like
Slouching.
this. Like other guests, I'd be like more like.
Sorry, I'm like, it should be.
we're just mirroring,
Yeah.
what we're comfortable with.
The Kiwi vibes, man. Kiwi vibes. Yeah. Thanks for having me out.
Yeah,
It's been a pleasure. It's been fun.
Much. Good, yeah, and I know you're busy, so this is such a treat to have you come out and
right.
spend some time with us.
pleasure. Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, so be sure to follow all of his restaurants and bars. We'll put the links to those in our description. But yeah, we'll see you next episode.
And make sure to like,
Oh,
subscribe,
sorry.
and turn your notifications on for more episodes of
Yes.
Alt Script.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See